Welcome to the Rogue Sun podcast, the podcast that rings a bell and summons stellar conversation about the series of the same name. I'm Matt, joined by my fellow rogues, Bash and Ali, to break it down. How's it going, Bash?
Fiery, good, excited to talk about Rogue Sun number 17, an issue it feels like we've been waiting a long time for. And there's been a few delays in the Massiveverse, but before we proceed, we would like to let a few people know. I was actually on the socials recently, just promoting Rogue Sun, posting some new posts. I don't know if you guys seen our little meme that we made, but we'll post it later in this episode. Someone was asking on the Image Comics page where they were promoting the most recent issue of Rogue Sun 17. They were like, "Is the issue over after? Or sorry, is the series over after number 18?" And actually, no. So it's not over because the Massiveverse recently decided that internally that, and I think this is a good thing, and we all discussed this before in another episode, they're taking a hiatus after the sixth issue of every arc, or the final issue of every arc, for a month or two before they continue the next arc, just to give them a breather, catch up on work, make sure they don't fall behind, and just give us the best quality possible. I think this is a really good decision, and just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, definitely streamline things for sure. So you might not have delays if you just organize it and get off on a better foot. I think it's better for things overall. It's good.
And listen, like if even if stuff gets delayed or need to take a break, this week of Massiveverse books, Rogue Sun and Radiant Black included, proves that it's worth the wait and they know what they're doing with that extra time.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. Like, this might have been the strongest week in the history of the Massiveverse. I don't know if that's going unreported, but like legitimately a really strong week. We did the Rogue Suns, we covered those, or the two Radiant Black issues, and this issue is no slouch either, as we're going to get into.
We're talking about Rogue Sun number 17, and where to begin other than... I hate when this happens. When I maximize it, it disappears. There we go. Where to begin other than with the creative team. So we've got writer Ryan Parrott, artists, two spectacular artistic duo of Abel and Marco Renna on the inks, Natalia Marquez on the colors, Becca Carey as the letter, and we've got covers by Luana Vecchio, Jonathan Marks Baravecchia, and Stefano Simeoni. So that Jonathan Marks Baravecchia cover is insane. You guys seen that?
Was there more than two covers? I got the one and I got the Monica one.
The Simeoni one is the Walking Dead connecting cover, the one that's connecting across all the time.
Yeah, I didn't grab that one. I got the Baravecchio one.
Yeah, that one's gorgeous though. So
I'm gonna wait until I can buy all the covers for $500 when they're super rare 10 years from now. No, I gotta pick those up. I need to get all those Walking Dead covers. They're really slick.
So we're going to just stick with the standard cover here, which is by Luana Vecchio or Lana Vecchio. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Not sure how it goes, but anyone feel free to correct me if they know. I love the covers that she's been doing for this series. Just some spectacular stuff, honestly. Every single one is it's beautiful, and this one's no exception. It looks like he's breaking out of this, like the Sunstone in a way. I don't know if that's exactly what they're trying to depict, but it kind of looks like that. Love the cosmic, like little crackle on his hands. And there's our creative team on top of the title. So here's our first page. We pick up from the last issue. Obviously, what happened during the last issue was that Papa Bell, not Marcus Bell, no, Owen Bell, grandfather Bell, aka Papa Bell, sacrificed himself to give them a fighting chance, and that's where we pick up in this issue. So
yeah, we got a lot of. I was gonna say we got a lot of Marcus in this, which I really enjoy when they give us a little bit of Marcus. We talked about wanting a spinoff, and this page was nice to get his perspective. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, like, this dude's beard is amazing. It really takes me back to Sacrificers. Like, Sacrificers has very similar beings, like this big flaming like Zeus dude almost. It's like looks very similar, but also very cool. Like, and love this kind of artwork. We'll have a fun time trying to guess. They didn't like show us at the creative, like when you look at the credits here, they don't tell you who's on what page, so it always makes it like a fun little quiz or game to try to figure it out.
It's the podcaster's gambit. Will we look like jackasses? Let's find out. No,
I feel like this is Marco Renna. Like I really do. I feel like this is Marco Renna, and we're gonna go on. I feel like this is Marco Renna as well. That's the second page.
I think what's outside, what happens outside the Sunstone is Abel, and what's in the Sunstone is Renna. Yeah.
Yep. Fair. So I just want to say that this is something surprising because they're also emotionally recovering. Even though we saw that the Bells are a complex family, there's a lot of emotions there. That there's a lot of things that lack the closure or maybe lack of emotions. Actually, if we want to go really deep into it, but there's a lot going on there, and so the guys aren't exactly reeling from the death, but they are upset, of course. Like it is still his father and his grandfather, Dylan's grandfather. So they did have a connection, and I do like what Owens or sorry what Marcus. Oh my God, what Dylan says here when he says, "Are you kidding? You honestly think he's gone? This is magic, dude. There's always a way back." And it's like the naivety of him, like as a teenager, and he turns to his dad. He's like, "We can bring him back, right?" And I really love the silence and like the John Wick-esque like nature. I mean, he's like, why? He's just like, yeah, oh, it's going, like it's gonna go down now. You've done it. You know what I mean? Like you just so yeah, that was awesome. What do you guys think?
Well, that goes back to what you said too, with like the kind of emotionless relationships they have with each other. You know, Dylan's kind of freaking out, and Marcus doesn't care because Marcus is just trying to channel all that rage into avenging his father.
Yeah, I felt bad for him, right? Because like he's talking like I just came to the stone and like I failed or whatever, and I gave it down to my son, and I just wanted to wait here and hopefully be of assistance to him. And obviously, we saw the other end of that where Dylan did not accept him, and he had this one thing, you know, and he feels powerless, and then he loses his father, and now he just suits up and beats the shit out of who is the Viking dude? Is his name Rune?
Is
Right?
Rune
Rune, yeah,
yeah,
Rune.
Yeah,
the Viking
he
son. Yeah.
I think I've said this before, but yeah, he's got my favorite design of the Vikings. So what happens to him made me a little bummed out, but I would love to see like an origin, like an anthology, like one shot of the history of these guys, more fleshed out of these.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be sweet, and we'd definitely talk it up. So Ryan, if you're listening, no, but no, the John Wick is a perfect comparison, and he was suiting up like Tony Stark during the fight. Like this issue had this is one of the most action heavy issues of the series. It was great.
What a great way to start the issue too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lots of moving pieces, right? Like we keep going between like 3 or 4 different perspectives, like 3 different parties throughout the issue, you can say, and there's a lot going on. One thing that I wanted to mention is like I really like what you said about the one shot, especially since like Ryan told us before that he's modeled this in some ways, in like there's some influences or inspiration, like some like very minor, from something like Immortal Iron Fist, which I feel like I really saw in this issue. Like I really felt it in this issue. Like I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of that. But like in this, it's in
we got a lot of punching too. There's a lot more fist like kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and we'll see it right here because coming up on the next page is empowered Marcus. I don't know what he channels into, some sort of inner rogue something, but he manages to, you know, become one with the flame, and he's unleashing his anger on Rune Ganolf, which, as you see, I love this line. Very like Wolverine-esque lunge, you know what I mean? Like he's just going for him full rabid. And that's when we pan back to the other our other group in this issue. Of course, we saw last issue that the family at the Bell Estate has all decided to take up arms, and what they've done is basically use the powers. I don't know if they have consent. I don't think they do. But they're using the powers of the prisoners who they have in the shards. So it's I just want to say it's really cool watching them like wield it. You know what I mean? They're really cool.
Yeah, when times are tough, usually prisoners have to go into like war efforts or fighting fires or doing a bunch of shitty things they want to do. So like this is one of those, and this was really cool to see. You know, it's like Captain Marvel had like the body swapping thing in the Marvels movie, right? It's kind of similar to that kind of deal where it's people unsure of their power set, kind of learning on the fly. And I thought this was like a really cool wild fight. Like imagine this in animation. It was cool here, but like you can see. There's a lot.
This is a splash page, by the way.
Yeah.
Just for those who don't know. Like this is Abel, first of all, and I just want to say, look at how crisp and clean his lines are. But they're very evocative. They're not like clean like Dan Mora, where it's just like there's a very sense of like polish. But here it's like there's a roughness to it. Like I love it. It's like jagged. And then the other thing is, I love, like you guys know, I love capes. I love capes. Most of the heroes I love have capes. Look at how much capes or just like drapery we have here in general. Like I really love that. Like seriously, and it's all different. It's not the same. Like here you've got like, and then like it's like a floating like drapey kind of ness instead of a dress. But here it feels like more like a dress, right? And
it's
then
billowing
here,
and stuff.
Yeah. This is pure like Norm Brayfogle / like McFarlane kind of caping. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what it reminds me of, like the Spawn or like the late 80s early 90s Batman when he had the sharp cape, like, you know, the McFarlane style Batman, the capes, and like then he put that into Spawn. I love that. And it's like it's so underrated, the composition of this page, because you have this glorious set piece with the perfect fighting, the choreography looks amazing. They have this amazing shot where You can see just where everybody is. There's no confusion. But one thing that I really appreciate is when you look at what's his name?
No.
No, not Corey. I always forget his name. Kill Switch. When you look at Kill Switch in the back there, it's actually like it's like immediately you might not recognize him because you're so taken away by the artwork. Your eyes are going around the whole page, but then you see him in the back and you're like, oh shit!
It's
the
like Castlevania.
Yondu spike, right? Like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
yeah.
Look at Ori. She's like got like the Simon Belmont stance in the background. It's almost like Dracula. Like it's very similar to Castlevania vibes too. Like I'm glad you mentioned the cape stuff too. Like I'll never look at this panel the same way. But look at this. Like this is how big the Rogues Gallery is that we don't even have like the main Rogue Sons here. Like in this panel, in this fight, we got like a civil war going on. Like it's wild the amount of.
And this isn't even everybody, right? There's still more somewhere else in the world.
Morningstar somewhere.
Yeah, look at like the subgenre within the genre. Like you have the supernatural, but then you have like basically like some sort of mummy humanoid. You have like a witch. You have a sorceress.
You got kaijus.
Yeah, like exactly. You have a flaming blade master. You have like a knight. You have like whatever this is, a soul-sucking like assassin or like rogue, right? Like it's just like it's super cool. And then you have like this like eldritch-looking being, or like even just some sort of like just creepy tentacle shit. Yeah. So he covered it like all his it just gives us so much diversity of supernatural like subgenre and within the genre. It's not just the same thing over and over. It's really cool. And like I think we had a criticism before of like when we were reading Radiant Black early on, we no longer, of course, hold this criticism, but back early on, very early on, was that a lot of the people were just like villains with like alien technology, right? Until we got a lot more characters, right? So it's like, and of course we don't have that. We don't have that anymore because we've gotten so many since. I think around issue 9 is when we really saw, okay, we have Excel, we have this, we have that, we have the 5 Indicate. But here, man, it's like everyone's so different, and you can like Matt said earlier, like you can explore the origins of people like Rune Ganolf, but you can also like explore these guys' origins, and they'd be completely different, right? Like we've already seen even how different Awesome's origin is from Rune. Like they're super different. So yeah.
You already kind of got a little bit of the Blood Moon's origin too. The past few issues.
Yeah.
The Blood Moon's design, it's almost like True Blood characters, almost, right? Like, isn't that like kind of like a dude from True Blood? Similar shit.
Yeah.
And I assume that like, shirtless dudes is like half the show, right? So no. Are we saying Bash?
Yeah. I just really love like Abel's artwork. Like I love the distinction between the two. It really feels like you're in two different places, two parts of the same like universe. You know what I mean? Like, or the same sub universe in this case, because we're in like the supernatural part of the Massiveverse. But yeah, it's just so cool because, like I said, the more jagged roughness of Abel's artwork, it feels more appropriate for something like this darker setting. Whereas Marco Arena, you're in these like halls of like flaming valor, basically. So you want like this more like regal, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? It feels a little bit cleaner. It feels more appropriate. So it's a really nice balance between like light and dark, but it's subtle because like you wouldn't exactly say that about the the moods or the themes, but it's more like the colors and of the set pieces and everything.
Yeah.
I love this moment of levity. Like here, like first of all, you're seeing a big like I don't know what the fuck that is, like an octopus kaiju tentacle thing fighting. Yeah, a werewolf with the wings. Like that's first of all, that's just incredible. And then that's where he turns to what's his name? I forget his name.
Billy.
Billy. It's Billy.
Yeah, Billy Blood Moon, and he's just like. I don't know. You stole my powers. I kind of want you to die. You know what I mean? I could just imagine that he has that nasty. He's like, I kind of want you to die. You know what I mean? Like that's how I hear it in my head. He's just like, I feel like he's just like he has an accent for whatever reason. He just looks like one of those guys. But then Brock turns and he's just like, even if my dying makes you and your family look bad, I feel like Brock definitely talks like Damian Wayne, like an educated little shit. You know what I mean? Like very like
a brat, like it's full of himself.
Yeah.
And you're worried about the influence because like we grew up with the with Ra's al Ghul and Talia, but like with this of like he's learning from Billy Blood Moon, like oh good job. And, like next panel's like good job, little whatever he says. Also later on he says like all right. That's a McConaughey reference. Like, no question.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's actually a really good point.
The interaction between these two, this issue has been some of my favorite interactions between any two characters in the Massiveverse so far. Like it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, it's like Winter Soldier and Rocket or something.
Yeah.
I love that he's telling him that. He's like, actually, like, tilt your wings and steer your head when you're flying. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, what it's like to be a flying werewolf. You know what I mean? Just like, come on, bro.
What I want to know though, if they die in these forms or while having these powers, do they still do they both die? Does Billy and oh my god, I was gonna say Damien. But do they both die or just Billy? You know what I mean?
Are they still in the
Yeah.
crystal? Like maybe the crystal just falls on the ground and someone can pick them up in the crystal or something. Like I don't know
Oh, maybe they
specifically.
do stay in the crystal.
Or maybe the visage disappears and just the body. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Either way, it's bad if you're the prisoners. You know what I mean? Because you're like, why would they want your souls for anything other than to mess with, right? Like the enemy. And then
Right.
it's like, at least these guys have some sort of like code of ethics. Like they're bound by their morality, whereas the other guy's probably gonna be like, raise it all, raise it all.
Also, I like the metaphor of like sometimes your parent and you're a kid, you feel like your parents are in charge of your life, almost like you're locked away in the sunstone. And with the kid being in charge, it's like reversing those things. Like, no, now I'm in control. So there's a lot of someone looking out for you. Like this series has a ton of like someone over your shoulder, like watching out for you and guiding you, and who's a good leader and like what's the best way to go forward. I like that a lot.
Dude, I was actually looking at the doing some comic book shop stuff today, and looking at the lunar previews, and I saw that for the store I work out, and I saw that the Star City tie-in with what's his name? Ryan Parrott's doing a tie-in story in one of the Beast World books, and I got to read it. And it actually has a lot of my favorite characters. And it's like the story is focused on what's her name, Red Canary, like the new character who we all like wanted to see more of. Man, it was good. I really enjoyed it. And like Stargirl shows up, and like I don't want to spoil anything more, but yeah, it was really good. I was really surprised by how good it was. I mean, I'm not really surprised. Ryan Parrott's an amazing writer, but I was really surprised how well he nailed the voices of some of those characters, and I really liked his take on the Red Canary. Like I really enjoyed his voice for her. So. Yeah, I hope
whenever it gets your seal of approval, I know it's a good book, especially DC. Oh, dude,
dude, like the first story has Jamal Campbell doing art, and he draws the best Connor Hawk I've ever seen ever. I think like the best ever. I don't think anyone's ever done about it. Like, guys, if you like Ryan Parrott, guys, check out that issue. And then of course he's got the Infernals coming up, a new I think it's Image Comics series that he's doing about like. Just more supernatural family stuff. I believe I did read a little bit of the preview. There's like 6-page preview that was up. It looked really good. Anybody can go see it, by the way. Coming out February 2024. So make sure you get your pre-orders in, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, back to the issue. I love his face here when he's like, "Great, thanks." And I don't know if that's like drool or just indicating the momentum as he's like running away. But either way, I love it. You know what I mean? And his reply is perfect. He's like, "Welcome to Clan Blood Moon, little man." If it was Damien, he would go. You know what I mean? Like, the tit thing? He would do that. He would be like, this motherfucker called me little man. You know what I mean? Like, unapprovingly.
I hope this is the beginning of a long friendship between the two.
What?
You want
Brock to be friendly with a racist?
It's us. I was sketched out changing my name even. Like, it's not a great company, really.
A shirtless racist, no less. And he's hanging out in a graveyard in shorts. Yeah, is that short jeans? No. Actually, I think it's just the lighting. I think he's actually.
I mean, he's not really there though. He's not really there.
Fair.
But this is an entire choice.
Them abs. You know what I'm saying? That mullet. My God. It's just. Anyway,
Cassie type of figure, right? That's what I'm picturing. But no, going forward, we joke, but like we know that he was influenced with not Reggie Roadkill, but Finnegan Root, right? Like he knows.
Right.
He knows these figures. Trying not to say Damien. Brock knows these characters, right? So like now he's got even more influence with these guys, and we know that he's young and impressionable. So that could lead to something later on. And the Ori stuff was also really cool. That's what I had my eye on the most because of the influence of Vampironica, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was really
Demonica. Yeah.
Can
we change your name now?
That's like, man, you've been reading a tad too much Archie recently, haven't you?
Those covers, no.
No, but this isn't the first time they work together either, right? She brings it up too. What's interesting to me is that Demonica seemed like she was kind of not really aware of what's going on until just now, pretty much. Just still trying to figure out, is this her body?
Ori looks like Sub-Zero or something. Like she looks so dope in this design. Like and I was wondering, like she's basically teasing her to like, oh, if you just absorb their power, it'll heal the pain and stuff like that. Like we can, like Ori can legitimately become addicted to stealing souls or kind of power and stuff like that. So like I am worried about the Bell kids right now. Seriously,
she already showed that she could do shit like that before. Yeah,
that's what she gets called out on, right? She's like, I've seen your desires, you thirsty little teenage brat, you know what I mean? And not the what's it called, not the hormone kind of thirsty, but the power kind of thirsty.
Yeah,
it's more deadly. I do love that like Killswitch has just like this freaking like flying dagger. I
It's like
like.
Yondu's arrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so cool. I love the little like red and black trail it leaves as it travels. Very cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of the
Um,
fatality that Smoke has in Mortal Kombat, where it's like he makes like a blender in the air, and then we kind of get something similar with like the whirlwind of daggers in there. I love the creativity in the kills, or at
Kind
least
of reminds me of Darkseid's lasers too. You know how they go
Mm,
like zigzag and shit. Yeah.
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
very cool. Yeah, so she gets called out on what she's done. I love how Ori looks as like this
Yeah,
demonica out, yeah, variant or whatever. Like just this is like her in this form. I love how she looks. I love the lettering as well. We've talked about this, the subtle lettering. A lot of the villains in this issue have really cool lettering features, and demonica has this like teetering between two different colors. You know what I mean? It's almost like showing you how crazy she is, or
she's almost like
it's
the Winter
really
Soldier with the mask. Like I get
yeah.
Winter Soldier vibes almost too. Like yeah, I nailed it with all those edits.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ori. Yeah, no, she looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well
just
done.
yeah, just a great page, and it shows you how like these villains are because they're not holding back. He's just literally slashing her up, and
Yeah,
then on the other end, we go back to the Sunstone. In the Sunstone, again, this is obviously Marco Reno artwork, gorgeous stuff. Look at the fight choreography. Look, first of all, this page is actually amazing. Let's talk about why this page is amazing. Because A, the coloring is amazing. B, again, we have this almost like pizza slice style like panel composition to
yeah,
show you like make the action flow better, but also the sense of urgency and pace. Love how brutal the fighting is. This is the Immortal Iron Fist I'm talking about, where it's just like brutal hand to hand, like martial art combat. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
he's not even holding back. He's just going full on. Like, look at those punches to the face, dude. Like straight up bitch
yeah.
punching him even.
It's
So
like
yeah.
no, it's well done. It's like Tekken, King of Iron Fist tournament. Like, and I love it. It's like Iron Man 3 kind of combat where you have pieces of the suit on you for what you need in the fight. Like, it just felt like raw and like pure anger, right? Because the guy he killed his dad, and we got the fire coming in the eyes, was kind of foreshadows where we end up in the issue, where with the fire just consuming the body, I guess, or that kind of form, which we'll talk about later. But no, this fight was amazing.
Don't forget too that they've been saying it takes years, sometimes decades, to develop the ability to summon the Rogue Sun suit or the Rogue Sun powers in the Sunstone. The fact that he
Yeah,
did it within a few minutes at this point just shows
But
how.
but 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 it shows that he's more than just like having all the typical power. Like he doesn't have like I don't think he has like the black fire or the full protection
No,
of
no, no.
like
He's
the
gaining
armor.
it. He's gaining it. He's gaining
Yeah,
it step by step. You could see its
yeah,
progression throughout the
and no
pages.
one
He
was
keeps
harsh on
getting
him
more
too.
and more.
yeah.
We know
But
his
like that
dad
Right.
that
was really
shows how
good.
badass he is. That he's just like he's this good
Absolutely.
a fighter, right? Like without it, yeah. But
Yeah,
but then
Absolutely.
that's where it's paralleled in the foreground, or sorry, yeah, in the foreground with the story of what's happening, where he's narrating. He's saying,
yeah,
my father wasn't an easy man to please. If he told you to push a tire up a hill, it didn't matter if you succeeded or not. You always could have done it faster or better. And he says, I once asked my mother why he seemed to hate me so much. She told me he just thinks love is breaking someone down and rebuilding them into someone better. And he says, I always hated him for that, but God damn it, I did not. If I didn't end up just like him, so it's like
yeah,
it's very like reflective, right?
yeah,
Introspective, very, but it's awesome because this is payoff. We're seeing this after a lot of issues of seeing Marcus fail as a father. Hell, that's what the story literally opens up with. Like, not only does
yeah,
he fail as a father, he fails as a rogue son, and he thrusts this entire legacy unwillingly into the hands of Dylan. So it's
yeah.
really fun to, or not fun. It's really cool to see him finally come to terms with that, both from the perspective of being a son and from the perspective somewhat of being a father.
Yeah. No, it's really well executed. And like the story, the family dynamics are like part of the strength. The series has a lot of strengths, but it's like the core of the series is that bond and like wanting to change things and not, what's the best way to pass on the knowledge that you have, right? And I feel like the Bell family might have passed on that stuff a bit better than some of the other Rogue Sons because these guys kind of have like it's similar to Radiant Black where the invaders kind of have like a mentality of like the one way to do things, and Rogue Sun's kind of changing things up. Just the name Rogue Sun, like you're going against the grain. You're not a knight. You're not this. You're the rogue. You can kind of sway and strike in unique ways to get the results that you want. And this fight was similar to that kind of concept. And I love this. He's taking on two Rogue Suns at once. Like this is the Rogue Sun battle royale here.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
love that. Yeah, go ahead.
no. I think it's interesting too. I just thought about this when you said it, Matt. That for at least as far as we know, 3 generations now, the Sunstone has stayed with the Bell family. I wonder if they'll ever touch on that, like how did that happen? How did it stay in? Because it looks like all the previous Rogue Sons, they're kind of scattered everywhere. They're really like a solid lineage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that page right here, or sorry, this panel right here is really cool. Just watching him, like, so the armor slowly come together. But I do love these, again, the narration here where he says, "This was I found a really emotional moment of the issue, and like after a lot of building up over the past few arcs." And he says, "I do, however, remember one night a few years before I finally became Rogue Son. There were these two assholes in my high school, the Mackenzie brothers. I found out they were running dogfights up in the Everglades, so I snuck out, slipped onto their property, and tried to rescue all their dogs. I was such an idiot." So you see that obviously continues on the next page. And again, a quick important moment here. Dylan coming to the rescue. Again, his actions here changing, him coming to terms with the fuck ups that he's doing, and then slowly, acting on them is also motivating Dylan, right? It's bringing him closer to Dylan, even though there's reluctance there. And so he says, "The last dog turned on me and brought the whole Mackenzie family running out. I broke the first kid's nose before his dad got me with the shovel. They each took turns kicking and beating on me. And the last thing I remembered before I passed out was seeing Rogue Son flying down to save me. Owen set the dogs free." It's funny, he doesn't even call him Dad, he calls him Owen. Also, somehow the house caught on fire and no one ever heard from the Mackenzies again. So there's I feel like not only is that his father's indirect way of showing him, or maybe not meaning to show him, that he actually respects his convictions, but that's also, of course, that he loves him and really cares for him, and he probably wishes that he could show him that, but doesn't want to make him weaker in his own point of view.
Yeah. Plot twist: the dog fighting dogs went off and bit a blood moon, and that's how the curse started. And we got werewolves. Boom. No, I do like how we're it's kind of a joke, but we're talking about dog fighting here, and outside the stone we're fighting with dogs and working together like the werewolves and that. So it's kind of cool. And there is that I don't want to say the toxic masculinity stuff, but it's hard for fathers to sometimes express emotion stuff like that, and that's something there where Owen, how he can't say his son he's proud of him, and even then he's proud. He went about it recklessly. He didn't call the police. He went out there and punched his way out of it, tried to sneak in and break it out. So it's a rough way to do it, but it shows how heavy-handed and pig-headed the bellboys can be.
Well, they actually mentioned that in the beginning too. Maybe this issue or the last one, where Marcus says whenever he would ask his mom if his dad loves him, she'd be like, "This is how he shows love. He shows love by kind of breaking you down and forming you into a better person. That's his way of showing love." So it's not necessarily the healthiest way, but in Owen's mind, he was a great father,
Yeah.
I love how Marco Renna directs the action and these scenes, man. There's just so much brutality in this issue, and it feels like a step up to the prior. Like the prior, there was a sense that you're getting that they're just trying to subdue them. It's just more like they have to do this, circumstances dictate it. But here, there's there's a lot of brutality. You could see that basically one could say, thank God that as Marcus came to terms with his emotional fallout with his family, his father, finally gaining some sense of closure. Thank God that he has someone to take it out on. You know what I mean? And it's thank God it's an enemy, because hey man, he is going hard, dude. He's going really hard. And as you can see, he's got his hand on the axe of Rungenolf. And I was thinking, oh shit, what's gonna happen here? And when I saw the next page, first of all, my jaw dropped onto the floor and I had to pick it back up, and I gotta give a big clap to Marco Renna on this page. Again, just amazing. Just, oh my God. I don't know if Marco Renna was playing God of War and it was I got it, the perfect shot. I know exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to just slice him in half. Stuff. I don't know. But man,
this is Valhalla, probably.
It is very God of War. I was just playing it earlier, and this is literally how you kill some enemies. But
dude,
I want to
saw the rage in his eyes. He's like, dude, I'll see you in hell. I'm done.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think that's a little kind of hint that maybe there is another plane of existence you can find Owen in?
Let's talk about. I think there is. I think it's possible, right? I mean, if there's this, definitely you can always come back. Yeah. It's on the table, right? When Marcus first died, we didn't think we'd never see him again back in human form, or So I think it's possible, Bash.
Yeah, definitely. But I again, the narration here, he says, Owen flew me home half conscious. I drifted in and out of consciousness as I watched my city drift by below us. He put me to bed, draped a sleepy shroud over me, and then he told me he was proud of me. He thought I was asleep. I wasn't. So, yeah, no, this page, though, oh my God, this one right here with the half armor on. Oh,
That's
Yeah.
the most looks like a cowl too. It almost looks like the Batman cowl, like Dark Knight Returns kind of
Yeah.
cowl. Like, and it's cool with the flaming eye. Like, this is the like the rage. Like, this was like Dad of Boy 4. Like, we're just gonna go like get that revenge. No, this was sweet.
Dude, is
And
he decapitated his ass, right? Or did he just
yeah,
cut him in half? Either way,
It
brutal.
looks
Oh
like
yeah,
he
it
just
looks
cut
like
him in half straight
yeah,
down.
straight down. And then he extinguished the fire out of what's it called, Rune Ganolf, and all that's left is a what dusty old husk. But holy shit, like very brutal.
they're looking
Uh,
like look at the look on the scene too. You can't. There's no expression, but you're like, oh what? Like like shit's going down. Like you
I love
can
how he
see.
just looks at them and they're like, "All right, man, we're good. We're good. We don't want any more trouble."
Yeah,
yeah,
his
and I
eyes
like the end
red,
of
like
the
orange.
yeah the end of the story. He says, "I never brought it up. Hell, sometimes I think it might have all just been a dream or hallucination." Damn,
Yeah.
man, that's brutal. No wonder he doesn't call Owen dad. It's just like or father or whatever. He just calls him Owen. But
Yeah,
I guess shout out to Owen Seiler, of friend of the show. Of course, he's been on the show. He once asked a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. He's like, "Why is it everyone in the Massiveverse who's Owen is a bastard or just does bad things?" Well, here you go. You could probably still call Owen Bell a bastard, but at least he's done some good things. So
honorable dad at the
yeah,
very least.
yeah,
Tell me this is not like some Batman move he just did right there. Look at them, the criminals get scared right
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Right? That's like
Yeah, that's it.
That's how
Yeah,
badass. Like the ego's not going to
yeah,
die down. It's like, yeah, I killed one rogue son, and the other two were afraid of me. Like that's a pretty badass moment there in the scene. It's
right.
like,
yeah.
no, so good.
I love the dialogue. You had no right to destroy him. This place is all of us, body and spirit. The loss of even one diminishes. And he just looks at him and he's like, perhaps one is not a great loss. This may be over, but we have unfinished work, all of us. And it's like, all right, the axe comes down. The tempers seem to be soothing. But on the other hand, again, love the lettering from Vecchio this time. It glows with the purple hues of the panels. Really beautiful
Had to work
stuff.
overtime.
Yeah, you see that Cataclysm, and in this case, it's Juliet Bell, right? Juliet Bell. It's not what's his name? It's not Dylan's mom.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
was gonna
Gwen
say
Dillon,
Vanessa, but that's even
whatever.
worse. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Gwendolyn.
think it's Gwen, right? Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
Gwen. It's Juliet Bell in there, and so she's struggling with Lady Calamity, and Lady Calamity is getting the upper hand. She's just really making some big moves, and that's where Gwen actually tells her, okay, look, charge up and hit her now with the juice. Okay, she hits her hard, incapacitates her. But then you get this brutal dialogue from Gwen where she says, you should kill them both before they regain consciousness. One concentrated blast to the head each should do it. And Juliet's like, I'm sorry, what? No, I won't be doing that because unlike you, I'm not a murderer. And then she
I
says,
only kill
no, you're.
ex-husbands.
But the dialogue is amazing. She's like,
No,
no,
it's
your
true.
mother, Juliet, I'm only helping you to protect my son. So if you don't want to see your children ripped apart by these animals, you better decide how far you're willing to go. And I'm just like, damn, dude. I'm genuinely curious. Like, what is she gonna do next? Like, has she been swayed by the
Yeah,
the bad conscience on this like side of her shoulders, the whispering in
I
her
mean,
ear?
it's tough, right? Because the bad guys are fighting to kill. Like they're not gonna hold their punches. And we saw
Yeah.
the same thing happen in the Sunstone. They're fighting. It's fighting to the death. This isn't just like stopping criminals at this point. It's fighting to survive.
yeah.
So we all know that Ali would be on Black Adam's side if he read Black Rain. Is that what you're trying to say? Like that's why you're trying to say you're taking Black Adam
I
and
don't
Adam
know, but
Thrasher's
it's a
side?
little more nuanced than that. But all right.
Yeah,
All
put
right.
me on
Look,
black.
look at is that Sharon? Just his ass got put down,
Yeah.
extinguished.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like got
Yeah.
shocked there.
But like, look how
I
dense.
love
I've said
that.
it before, but like, look how much is being done in these issues. You have like multiple pairs of characters taking on the form, like with the form of someone else, and they're interacting with them. And it's like perfectly paired. With like the reckless with Brock, the reckless Billy Bloodmoon. With this, of like being a mother, like, hey, you got to do what it takes to be a mother. When supernatural shit goes down, you don't want to be like on the ceiling burning alive, like Winchester ex-girlfriend or something. You got to watch your ass. Like
But
this
this
stuff
is
is.
like a 50 Shades of Green page. Have you noticed? Like, look
Yeah,
at it. There's like so much
A
green
lot of
everywhere.
greens. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, a
There's a
lot
lot
of
of
like
green.
different hues and stuff. Yeah,
that
very
Morningstar
nice.
energy is lurking, right? That's Morningstar in the background, right?
Love the lettering.
Such
Yeah,
a
100%.
so well executed this series.
So here we get a closer look at Lord Vythe. I love Lord Vythe. I just think he's so cool. Like I don't know,
He's
like I feel it's very. You know how invincible we have the Atlantis fishies and all that. Like here we have
Yeah.
like Lord Vythe and these like little tentacle monsters. I don't
It's
know.
like water Finnegan Root, right? Where Finnegan Root's like all the land roadkill. This is almost like the sea roadkill put together, and like both are fucking sick as hell. I don't know how you make an action figure of that. Like that would be so many parts. Todd would just like, no, the series is canceled. We're done.
I like that he calls people whelps, and then like someone
Yeah.
makes a comment on that. He's like, people still call people whelps. Like you're the type of villain that calls people whelps. I like that, but I think that's funny. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Brock versus Lord Leviathan is just like a lot for a little kid with no like real combat experiences and just all really just drug dealing, like shady drug dealing, and not even of like the recreational kind, just of like the want to see your dead dad kind. But it's kind of tragic, honestly.
Yeah. It's interesting because like the kids do have sins to pay for, right? Because they have been doing that. So like Ori, like that messing around with the Sunstone, you almost got people killed. And hey, this demon now has some intel on you and a way into your brain and a way to manipulate you. So it shows that there's consequences.
Yeah, I do love this like little panel here of Killswitch just like marauding Gwen, or sorry, not Gwen, Ori, and he's literally just like slashing her up and slash. You could like feel, you could hear it, like it's just the way the fluidity of the story and everything, you can hear it going on. But I thought this was brutal, man. Like she's really taken a beating, and that's where like I don't know, what do you guys think? This was really concerning for me, in my opinion. On the one hand, I'm like, okay, like Adi said, like these guys are like aiming to kill, right? Whereas the heroes are kind of holding back. They're also not too sure. They're not too experienced or sure with the power that they're dealing with. But I honestly was a little bit concerned. This was like the Marshall, like God mode the first time on XL. You know what I mean? Yeah. I felt like that. I was like, oh shit! Like, is this? I'm not sure how I feel about it because I feel like Gwen enjoyed this. I feel like she enjoyed like, overpowering the guy. Yeah.
These two kids got denied these two privileged rich kids got denied like the power that from their dad, right? And now they actually get power in a different way, but it's more of an evil, sinister one, right? So it's like, are they going to give that up or not crave that again? I like that's something.
Look at her face, bro. She's like finger licking good. No, I'm just kidding. She's obviously like fixing her hood, but like, look, she looks like she enjoyed. Like, she looks empowered. You know what I mean? Not just like literally because she obviously sucked the soul out, but like even just on a deeper level, she's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like I was powered that guy. So that's where you could see maybe perhaps like the whispering of these criminals and these incarcerated.
Dripping out of the bubble. Falling. Like the bubbles in the Massiveverse today. No Texas thing in these bubbles half the time. Like shit's going down. And yeah, she's almost getting like Melina Mel from Mortal Kombat with the jaw. She's covering up like, all right. Like no, it's awesome. And you worry about the future of this. And of course this shit was wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're back at grandma's house, and it's not cookies in the oven. It's this was crazy. I didn't expect this, but I love this because they foreshadowed the suit of armor beforehand.
Oh yeah, I this was a really like, I'm glad we were talking about redemption in the previous episodes, right? We're like, is he redeemed for doing this? Blah blah blah. All that being said, like we've already had our discussions on it. We've talked about our opinions and what we think, but I really enjoyed having this moment of closure for Owen. But I thought it was so funny. Sorry, not Owen, Marcus. But I thought it was so funny that when she thought it was Marcus, she was ready to beat his ass. Like her first reaction, no, it's just like, oh, hell no, like I don't want to see that guy. But then, it's too far. Then she notices it's. I don't have the picture. I didn't want to put, again. We want to respect.
Not too much of it. Buy the book, guys.
Yeah, buy the book, guys. But she does. They do have a moment where they embrace each other. They're hugging. Yeah. Really warm moment. It's really heartwarming, and it's a moment I feel like we've wanted for Marcus for a long time, because I don't feel like, even if things go well and they somehow manage to escape the situation and Dylan escapes the Sunstone, I feel like there's still a rift between Dylan and Marcus. I feel like Marcus has redeemed himself enough to have a chance at fixing that, but not yet to be embraced by Dylan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Another thing of like he gave up Dylan, like thinking that like, hey, my father's rough, I'm going to repeat the same cycle. I don't know if that's something that was in the back of his head too. Probably was something he's mentioned as well. So yeah, there's that element, and also the suit when the flaming body takes over the suit, it like turns white and stuff, which was really interesting. It made me think of Infernal Girl Red, which is always an awesome franchise to think of. So there's more kind of ties to those series because we've seen a black and white version of the suits in like very little time, really. So I thought that was cool.
It looked almost like smoldering to me. Like, you know how like there's red hot and white hot? That's like the vibe I got from it.
Well, this part here is so cool because it's like chipping away at the black to reveal like the healing. It's almost like he's healing. You know what I mean? Like right? Like, did you guys get that impression? Like he's shedding the past. You know what I mean? Like coming out of his
Oh
cocoon a
yeah,
little
that's
bit,
the way
right?
you
Well,
look
Like
at it.
one of us is mentioning Gandalf the White at some point. Like,
yes,
it's
yeah, oh my
you
god,
know.
I'm so glad. I actually didn't consider. No, I'm actually that's a great comparison. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean this was badass. Like, look at this. The art was freaking amazing this issue. You get the flaming body, and then the suit on top of it is like dope as hell. So like, we're an embarrassment of riches with all these cool characters in Radiant Black. Like, if they just had like just the supermassive crossover is amazing. There's so much Image can do with crossovers, but this was fucking sweet.
Yeah, Owen gave up his power. Now Marcus has the suit, and somehow we don't know exactly the logistics. So oh, there it is. So she sees if you come near me or anyone in my family, and then she's like, "We're not. I mean, I'm not Dad. It's me, Marcus." That's the embracing. It's beautiful, and I think like that's even more proof that it's a process of healing.
Yeah,
And here we go back, and it's a quick like snapshot of the situations of every respective villain's perspective. We see that nobody's safe. Basically, that's the message they're
yeah,
trying to send to us. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a normal person, whether you're a hero. In the situation they're in, no one's safe. And uh, what's his name is basically saying that everyone should just surrender and make it easier.
Caleb.
Caleb Hawthorne, yeah, Night Sun. He's saying that
Caleb was like in
everybody
the
should
background
surrender.
for a lot of this issue.
Mhm.
Caleb and Dylan both. Like, that's how
Yeah,
big this arc is. You thought there'd be a lot
yeah.
more of those two going at it, but there's so much going on, and that's not a knock. It's just something I thought was interesting of these two major players in this saga. Very very little scenes.
No, I agree, and that's very interesting because there's so much going on here, and
Yeah,
it's good to honestly focus on Marcus, considering how he's in the background a lot, even though he's making important moves. He's a big influence, which shows you how present his character is, despite not always being physically present, because he's in the
yeah.
back of Dylan's head, or he manifests through Dylan's actions, right, through informing some of what he does. But
Well,
this page,
based
dude,
off
this page,
this,
yeah, that's the
based
last
off
page.
this, he's gonna be a lot more involved.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at like we've got like the silver like knight. I don't even know like what we're gonna call him, but
Rogue Dad.
he looks
No, I don't
really
know. Rogue
cool.
Father. No, no, this is sweet. Like, I don't know what to call it, but it's dope. I said like the White Knight or something like that, or something. I don't know, but it's
Yeah,
awesome. We'll have to get an official name.
I love
White
how
Knight.
no, we got another tie to Venom when they say when they're talking to we
White
there.
Knight like doesn't sound
Yeah,
bad, but it has a negative connotation, so I don't think
yeah,
we'll go with that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah. I know you're right. I know. I knew saying it, but like,
No,
yeah,
I didn't even realize that first, but then I repeated it, and I'm like, oh yeah,
I
that's
know.
why that's why they do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's a lot. It's like silver too. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, it's like silver. There's like definitely polish to it, right? Like there's like a
Yeah,
what do they call it? Like a matte finish to it, right? Like it feels like shiny. Yeah,
Yeah,
very cool. Very like love that like streak, that flight streak he's leaving behind, the jet streak, whatever people call it. Very cool. And he says you gotta love when it tees up your arrival like that. Hello again, Caleb. We're back. So we're gonna get the big fight next issue. It seems like it's gonna be Marcus versus Caleb to free Dylan from the Sunstone. Who knows what kinds of twists and turns we're gonna have in that
yeah,
issue. I do want to say this was a very satisfying issue. I wouldn't say it was as good as the last one, but it's like still up there in the I feel like 8.8 to 9 region. Like that's
mm,
the personal score I'm giving it. Again, a super strong issue. Nothing really like there's no real negatives
yeah.
about it. We're just in that beat part of the story. Really loved it. Had such a good time reading it. What did you guys think?
I actually liked it more than last issue. This might be one of
Really
my favorite. Yeah, yeah. I like
nice.
the way it was paced. I like the reveals. The action was amazing. This is some of the best action
Yeah.
we've seen in Rogue Sun so far. But I just want to say it looks like I don't think it's just Marcus, man. I think it's Marcus and Dylan, kind of like a Venom situation. They're both
Oh, or
controlling
like
the same
Firestorm.
body,
Sure.
or like fire. Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah,
Firestorm too. They're both controlling the
In,
same body
for
because they
me,
say we're back.
yeah,
in
we're
my
back.
head canon, he's in the stone. Dylan's still in the
Yeah,
stone, and Marcus is like the
yeah.
body.
I
That's
think
my
I think he's
Okay.
saying we because he's in Owen's like thing.
Well,
So
no,
oh
because
yeah.
if you go back a little bit earlier too, they're both talking to each other while they're in the suit.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
so okay, fair. Maybe
And he
he
said
can
we
access.
needed a vessel. He
Yeah,
tells
yeah.
Dylan we needed a vessel.
Maybe
Yeah.
he can access Dylan because he has his own suit now, so he can access the Sunstone. You know what I mean?
That
Kind
was
of.
my thought. We'll
Yeah,
see
yeah.
where it
That's what
goes,
I'm
right?
thinking too. Yeah,
And
yeah. We'll see where it goes.
we kind of skipped over the how he got into like how he escaped being inside the stone and back into this body, right? Maybe we'll get that in the first couple pages of the next issue, I'm assuming, because we skipped
That's
over it
true.
for the cool effect. I'm glad we did it this way. It worked well for the reveal.
Oh yeah,
But
he appears in the monument. That's in the. So
yeah,
maybe he. Okay, maybe if like you know how in the Radiant Black, if you're synced to the Radiant, like you have certain privileges, like you can
Yeah.
literally connect to it. Maybe
Yeah.
if you're synced to the network of Rogue Suns, like if you're a Rogue Sun at any point, then any person can like use your armor at some point if they have the
Well,
consent or something. Because that's
that's
how
pretty much
Caleb
what happened
taken
with
over.
Caleb.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
much what
yeah.
happened with Caleb. Yeah. I just
Yeah.
think they took Owen, like Owen's vessel was the only one available that they knew of, at least.
Yep.
So that was the one they went into it. But now
Yeah.
instead of one spirit, there's two spirits kind of working
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
vessel,
That
and
makes
Dylan
sense.
and Marcus. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. With this issue, yeah, this is a fantastic issue. I don't know how I'd rank it compared to the next issue, but the only knock I'd have to say, and like I'm not trying to be a dick, if like yeah, there's one grammatical error in one of the speech
Yeah,
bubbles.
yeah, the is. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, yeah, and it kind of takes you out of it when you realize a small error like that. But hey, in a second print, we'll fix it. In the long run, everything else is fantastic, and I'm not gonna like dock points for it. But yeah, that's literally my only critique. Because otherwise, great character building, awesome fight scenes. The art is spectacular. The direction of the series has been amazing. Like we got issue 18 is gonna have an amazing finale now, and we got this new awesome version powered up to kick some Caleb ass. Plus, there's still a bunch of other stuff to fight. So I'm excited for next issue, and this one was another, you know, smash hit in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not gonna dock points on the typo only because I've noticed so many typos in so many books from so many different
Yeah.
companies recently. I don't know if it's just like people are like we're getting to the holidays, people are tired, or maybe they're just overworked. But me personally, I'm not. Like, it doesn't bother me.
For sure.
But yeah, here's the covers that we wanted to show you guys. This is the Jonathan Marks Vecchio cover for number
Amazing.
17. Amazing, like truly like gorgeous. Like, wow. You know what I mean? I don't normally like I get all the Rogue Sun stuff. I wouldn't normally get 3 covers for one book, even if it's a book I love. I got all the covers for this one. Here's the Walking Dead cover. I love that with the blade and Michonne behind him. Yeah, I'm getting all of these. I love the Massiveverse, love Walking Dead. Definitely will get these. And then let's talk about the next issue. So, end of story arc. Finally free from the Sunstone. Dylan squares off against Caleb in a fight. It's interesting here. It says Dylan in a fight that will determine the fate of New Orleans. But does Dylan have any hope of winning against an enemy with 400 years experience? That's such a cool still to say. And then this gorgeous cover by.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it says it's Luana Vecchio. So she does another gorgeous cover. She's been killing it. Oh my god, that's amazing. Damn. So issue 18, guys. I can't believe we've made it this far. And I'm not saying that like, oh my god, like what I mean, in a bad way. I mean like it's been such an amazing journey. I can't wait for more. Keep in mind, we will have a 1 to 2 month hiatus after this. That's why we don't have an issue solicited. Rogue Sun is not ending. People have no fear. And then finally, we mentioned this last episode, but just again, here's the Rogue Sun Volume 3 Night Sun trade paperback collecting issues 13 to 18. Oh, yeah. Look at that
special cover, right? That hasn't been on anything else. That's like specifically for it. Look at that. Look at that. How do you not pick that up on the shelf? Like if I was walking to the store, this would be one of the books that pops up the shelf. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, and speaking of, we were talking about trades before, and here you can even see what I paid for it. But here's my Rogue Sun Volume 2 trade.
That was original cover too.
Yeah, original cover with Hellbent. Very cool.
Awesome.
Very nice, beautiful spine. Gorgeous issue. Spot gloss is amazing. They do have these cool part of the Massiveverse now, which is very helpful for people who want to get more into it. So make sure you guys check out Rogue Sun. And speaking of, we're actually doing a giveaway. We have a whole box sent by the incredible and generous Ryan Parrott, the co-creator and writer of Rogue Sun. Several incentive variants of Rogue Sun that are signed by him. And we want to give one away. And we'll be giving them all away. So that we're doing many giveaways over, the next few months. So how do you participate? Well, we have one of 2 milestones we want to hit. We're close to 100 followers on Instagram, and we're close to 100 subscribers on YouTube. First one that hits 100, that's when we'll do a giveaway and give away one of these incentives. And they're all incentives, ladies and gentlemen. They're either incentives or exclusives that are hard to find of Rogue Sun, signed by Ryan Parrott. So make sure you follow us on Instagram at Rogue Sun Podcast, and make sure you follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube at Rogue Sun Podcast, so you could be entered into the giveaway. We're including literally everyone who subscribes or follows us from now with the release of this episode until the end of the year, whenever we hit those numbers. So Hey guys, we're close. Let's do it. Want to give away some fiery books?
Yep. And keep an eye on the Twitter. That's when we talk about a lot of these giveaways. And obviously, listen to the podcast is the best place to hear about them. And we've got it. Ryan was super generous. So we've got quite a few giveaways to do over the next year or so. So definitely hit us up and keep listening to the pod.
And if you're interested in more of Ryan Parrott's work, here is the book that he's doing, releasing February 14th. So that's Valentine's Day, right? Yeah, so it's releasing on Valentine's Day. That's bold. So yeah, it's called The Infernals, and here's the synopsis. It says Abraham Abe Morgenstern, the son of Satan, has 1 month to live. Before he dies, he must decide which of his 3 wayward children, volatile narcissist Nero, conflicted field operative Jackal, or troubled schoolgirl B will inherit his shadowy empire. But will Abe ever be able to truly seize control of the apocalypse, or does the Antichrist have something else up his sleeve? Writers Ryan Parrott, Rogue Sun Power Rangers, and WGA Award nominee Noah Gardner are joined by Eisner Award-winning artist John Pearson, the Department of Truth, Blue and Green. That's awesome. For an epic tale about family, power, legacy, and the end of the world. So basically, if you like Rogue Sun and you like Ryan Parrott's writing, most likely you're probably going to like this book too.
Yeah.
That cover looks amazing.
I thought it looked Department of Truthy. Yeah.
It has a very nice, very dark, yeah. So I'm going to be picking this up February 14th. FOC is not going to be for a few weeks, so you're good. And then Moon Man #1, which is the new book by Kyle Higgins and Scott Mescudi, aka Kid Cudi, is the FOC for that is January 7th. So that's coming up soon. And I know you, and it releases January 31st. I know you guys who love the Massiveverse love this other stuff, and you probably like Kyle Higgins. We've got, of course, Igor Monti doing colors, and Hassan Osman Elha, letter of no one doing letters.
That's a busy day for Kyle. You got Radiant Black, 18 and 18 and a half, and Moon Man. So that's a big day.
Yeah, I bet something will get delayed, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I don't think it's super likely. No, I didn't. We'll see. Hopefully, right? I mean, I'm hoping so, but delays just mean more time to make sure quality.
Yeah. And in terms of where's Charlie at, unfortunately, Charlie couldn't join us today, not because of anything bad, thankfully. He's actually studying really hard to pass one of his biggest final exam for his, I believe it was certification. So we're all wishing him the best of luck, and he'll be back with us on the next episode of the Rogue Sun podcast and the Radiant Black podcast. If you want to see more of Charlie or any of our fiery pretty faces, you can see us over at the Radiant Black podcast, where we actually literally just before this dropped a colossal sized episode featuring discussions of both Radiant Black 27 and 27.5. One of the longest episodes I think we've ever done that wasn't live. I think it's over 2 hours. So yeah.
Those are bangers too. Check that out for sure. I feel like if you listen to one, you listen to the other, or read at least one of the other series, right? Because the Massiveverse, it's all quality.
100%. I'm glad you said so. And we've been seeing actually a lot of numbers going up for Dead Lucky episodes. So it's really nice to see some people either maybe discovering the podcast or maybe some Dead Lucky people that are just finally found Dead Lucky and they're into it. Yeah, I love that book. Yeah. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. You'll see us next time for Rogue Sun #18. And until then, make sure you stay fiery.